So Perry, let's jump right into this, and I'll talk across you if they can't hear you. Tell me a little bit. It's 20 years ago. You're headed into Afghanistan. What was the mission?
The mission was to go in and defeat Al Qaeda and the Taliban. Our mission wasn't in particular to get Bin Laden, but if that was part of it, well, that would so be it. That would be the better part of it, right? Because that's what everybody was angry about. But really, we went in to defeat Al Qaeda and the Taliban and restore government in Afghanistan, like we did do. I mean, I think we forget how successful we were in the early days and how quickly we were able to do that and sustain it.
Yeah, so Perry, interestingly, we go in because Afghanistan is a hotbed for folks to do whatever they want and deliver whatever their brand of terrorism is to the world, right? And as you say, Bin Laden's there, but the Taliban's just indifferent to it. They don't really care what happens within their borders when it comes to American citizens or our NATO allies abroad. It's just a fact of life, right?
Right, absolutely. And it's a horrible regime that treats its people horribly. There's no liberty in that country. No freedom never has been. It's been a conquering warring country probably since its inception, right? And so we knew what we were getting into, but if we remember back, a lot of folks had doubt because of what happened with the Russians. And then here we were, this small group of people in 5th Special Forces Group, just wreaking havoc all over the country and defeating the Taliban. And it didn't take long, but it took a lot longer to reestablish some level of order within the country. And like if you look at what we're dealing with now, we kind of forget what the attitude was when they voted for the first time. Do you remember I remember distinctly that woman with her finger blotted with ink, holding it up. We voted, we did this. We're just like you. We're like America. We're bringing what you showed us, what you gave us, what you promised, and we're trying the best we can to move forward. And we sold them on that, and they bought it, right? They bought it so much that going back from the early days, our interpreters are starting to dress like us, act like us. They're starting to dip Copenhagen, I mean, they're just all in about America. And truly in the last 18 months, I think, we haven't had any servicemen killed in combat in Afghanistan. So we had it rooted. What we didn't have was a long-term patience to allow that to continue. And it needed to be a generational change. I think you and I were talking about this earlier, and we needed the old Taliban to die out and the new people to come in and just grasp this whole ideal of freedom and liberty and let it take root. And it started to. I mean, they were educating women. Just unbelievable things that they were doing in such a short time.
So things that hadn't happened in 2,000 years in Afghanistan, hadn't been even dreamt of. Not only were we educating women, but we have women up until 3 weeks ago that were mayors in towns that were actually calling the shots. And you want to talk about a huge advancement for something that Democrats seem to usually beckon to, which is the idea of advancing not just multicultural ideas, but certainly parity amongst the sexes and women's lib, if you will. And here it's really happening in real time. And suddenly there is an institutional change, a decision that despite some of the key leaders, we're not leaving troops in. We're not leaving any sort of stability or security force. I think that's even in contrary to NATO, as I understand it. NATO had no idea or understanding that this was going to be our policy, and here we are with what's going on today in Afghanistan.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And you bring up the politicians, and it hurts. It hurts the fellas. I mean, a lot of people have reached out to me. We've had a lot of deep conversations. We're knee deep into trying to save every single Afghani American citizen that has reached out to us for help, and we're doing this right now, real time.